So today we're focusing on how to improve your aim, and there's multiple things you can do as a new player, returning player, or an active player in Call of Duty, especially with accuracy being so important and leading to faster TTKs and players getting better and skill-based matchmaking. You're going to want to make sure you're shooting as straight as possible. So a lot of times what you can do is start with a couple different fundamentals: tracking, flicking, tracing, a lot of those types of things, and then those evolve into proper centering, proper recoil control, and we're going to dive into each of these different elements to get you started. Normally what you could do is kind of figure out where your sensitivity is. For me, it might be a 6.5 initially, and then maybe we tune it and we get to a right spot. Maybe that's too slow for you. You can actually start at a higher sensitivity, and we'll go ahead and tune some different elements depending on what you want to do. Initially, what you're going to want to be able to do is switch from the center of this paper in the firing range or center of the wall to the center of this grid. Center of wall, center of grid, center of wall, center of grid. And as long as you're able to do that pretty efficiently, then you're going to probably have the right sense for you. As long as you're not overshooting or undershooting. If you're undershooting, that means you might need to raise the sensitivity. If you're overshooting, it means you're going towards the outsides, then that means you need to lower the sensitivity to get it dialed in. And this is completely in the hip fire. With this is just a good baseline to start. You don't need to go crazy into it. Get an ADS in it. And so you're ADSing the center there. And the reason for that is because when we actually get into targets here, we're going to be able to go here and then boom, and we're on target. And boom, we're on target. Boom, on target. We're able to swap between targets pretty effectively, and that'll allow you to win more gunfights. Next thing up is centering. Before we get too deep into that, today's video is brought to you by SteelSeries and KontrolFreek, showing off a little bit of their Black Ops 6 collab. They hooked me up with the Arctis Nova 7X wirelesses with the custom Mr. Peaks booster pack, as you can kind of see there. And it kind of goes across for that little zombies theme, since round-based zombies is back. A mouse pad, which I think is awesome. We got the little bit of a monkey bomb there. And the KontrolFreek thumbsticks, which I swear by. I don't play the game without them. So I'll be checking out these ones as we go ahead and grind our camos. If you'd like to get your hands on any of these, go ahead and check the links near the top of the description for SteelSeries or KontrolFreeks, or just use code JGOD at checkout. Thank you to SteelSeries and KontrolFreek for sponsoring today's video. So welcome back. In case you guys didn't know, I've been using KontrolFreeks for a while. And that's what we're going to be focusing on with this accuracy drill here. So we're going to be focusing on centering. And the main thing you want to focus on centering is that crosshair placement, or called centering. So what happens is there's zero possibility that there's an enemy right here. Definitely towards the doorway, but not necessarily here or here. We want to kind of get center mass. So when we're tracing around, we want to go ahead and make sure our crosshairs are kind of at chest level. And then as we come through, we can go ahead and kind of put our crosshairs at where the openings are. So there's a particular opening here. Obviously, if you have your aim dialed in, you should be able to look at this head glitch, even though that'd be kind of a hard spot to take someone off. But as we come through, we can go ahead and make sure our crosshairs are somewhere where people will be. And the reason for this is just time to action in terms of being able to adjust your crosshairs. See, our crosshairs were already kind of towards the middle. As we came up, we're able to take that guy out, perfectly standing there for us. So as we come through, we just want to be able to practice good behaviors. Is our crosshairs on the ground? Are they too high? Are they too far left or too far right? We want to be able to move around the map with our crosshairs where people are likely to be, whether it's a doorway, whether it's up in this window, whether it's up across here, maybe it's through the middle here. It looks like our teammate died. We can go ahead and come through, and we can see, all right, this is where potentially people are going to be. And this is what you can do in a private match. If you just want to make sure you're getting those good behaviors as we come around. The benefit of this is, let's say this was a person, right? If I'm over here on the ground, then if I have to adjust to this person, I have to react, and that motion is very slow. Versus if I'm coming through over here, it's middle doorway, I can just snap on, get a headshot, super easy, decimate them. And the reaction between me adjusting my aim and then them adjusting their aim, if I'm closer to the target, that's going to allow me to get the first shot in, which will generally lead to a kill. Now that we have the centering dialed in, the other part we can do is tie this in with tracking. Right here, I can actually walk around tracing my teammate and focusing on centering around the map. You can see them kind of moving around. And this gives you kind of a real life target to kind of chase. Instead of some like random targets, I can actually just kind of chase around where this teammate is looking around, we can go ahead and adjust it. And then this allows us to get that tracking dialed in. So ideally, we're going to want to be able to make sure that we got good control of this. This guy just runs the same route. And then we're able to stay on target, even if we're strafing left, strafing right. And then it allows us to be able to have the control. Oop, I thought I saw someone. Nope. Adjusted it. And then we can go ahead and keep eyes on the centering. If I want to center on the doorway, oh, is that somebody up there? I thought I saw someone. We can check out that hallway, and then there we go. So this is some basic centering and tracking drills that you can do in the hip fire, making sure that you're lined up with where people are going to be, and then we are able to get that target as they come around the corner. My crosshairs were chest level. All I had to do is make a slight adjustment because they ran to the side of the doorway. The goal isn't to be 100% on the target every single time. It's to be in the most optimum position so that when you need to adjust your aim, you are on target relatively quickly with little to no adjustment. Obviously, I couldn't predict that the guy was going to be on the far right, but me being over here versus over here, instead of having to do this big adjustment, I only had to do a little bit of adjustment as I strafed into the room, and I was able to take the guy out. This is very important from getting that first shot accuracy and being able to take out targets relatively quickly. As you come around, you're going to be able to adjust your aim, and maybe I want to chase this guy. So you can go ahead and kind of get in the habit of doing those types of things. I used to have an exercise like this where I would just load it up with bots, and then I would only do hip fire, making sure you get a hip fire build, trying to be as accurate as possible. I think this accomplishes very much a similar thing. Also, side note, as part of the KontrolFreeks, there's also a special challenge coin that comes with it. I think it's pretty limited to the Black Ops 6 release. So if you're interested in the challenge coin, make sure you go ahead and pick those up if that's something you're interested in. But let's go back to the firing range. And now we can actually focus on recoil control. So now that we're back in the firing range, what we're really looking for here is making sure that we can see what the recoil pattern is going to be. We know it goes up and then to the right. So typically when you go ahead and do recoil patterns, you're going to go pull down, and then when it starts to angle to the right, you're going to go pull down and to the left. So this is the typical way you're going to go ahead and control recoil. And this one has a little bit of wobble, which makes it a little bit harder. But ideally, over time, you would get muscle memory on what the recoil pattern is going to be. And ideally, you're going to be able to stay on target. And this in addition to aim assist, where you'll be able to shoot relatively straight. If you feel like the recoil is a bit much, you can always swap attachments to go ahead and make sure that you're getting a tighter recoil. But overall, it's really good just to kind of learn the basic of a recoil pattern so you can kind of stay in the general area when you're shooting a target. The other thing you can do is, because of these predictive recoil patterns, you're able to do a thing called burst firing. So you can let go of the trigger slightly and it'll reset the recoil. So watch when I just release it. This is just basic fundamentals, and then it automatically recenters to the start of the recoil pattern, and then it'll continue it. Something to be aware of with this also sets the recoil pattern. So this particular one, it goes just vertical. If you feel like it getting away from you, you can just release it really quick and then get back on target. So if I go like this, and you can kind of see it kind of has that little bit of a pattern where it's mostly going vertical. So if I really wanted to control it, but it felt like it got too out of hand initially, what you can do is just get it and you'll be able to control it just like that. So overall, this is one of the best things that you can do when you're trying to control recoil, is being able to make sure you have your sensitivity dialed in, and then go ahead and kind of look in the range and see what it's all about. And even semi-auto can have a recoil pattern, and you can see it goes vertical. And you just got to adjust for that. Pull down, hold straight, and you'll see the recoil will have a relatively tight grouping. Also, if you felt like your hip fire was pretty good and then you didn't really want to mess with that, but you felt like you were too inconsistent when you aim down sight, the other thing you can do to adjust this is to actually go to your settings, go to controller, go to aiming, and then under sensitivity multiplier, you can actually lower down your ADS sense multiplier to something like 0.8, 0.75, and then that'll allow you to have way more precision with your control of what you're doing, without necessarily having to adjust your hip fire, which you just spent all this time dialing in. So that's kind of why we do that part last. Once you dialed in all the other parts that you got a good grasp of, then you go ahead and can adjust this. Now that you know what the recoil is, you got the tracking, the centering, the flicking, all that. The thing you got to be aware of is in every Call of Duty, pretty much there's going to be some form of aim assist for a controller player. Since Modern Warfare 2019, this range goes up to 200 meters. That's 100 meters down there, but it goes all the way down there. So ideally what you're going to want to do is be strafing in a gunfight. So you get the rotational aim assist. As you'll see, it kind of drags the character model as I strafe left and right. And then there's also the slowdown. So if I just go ahead and kind of drag this slowly, you'll see it go ahead and kind of stop. You see it jerk, and then it jerks away. And this is a combination that you want to kind of get them together. So if I was strafing and changing my aim, you'll see it kind of gets really sticky around the character model. So once we have strafe, aim, rotation in it, and we're going to get the target on point. And as long as you've dialed that all in, you should be shooting relatively straight. Obviously, it's not going to happen overnight. And the reality of what you want to do is go ahead and make sure that you're practicing these things by doing a warm-up. So we'll go ahead and put this to free for all, and we'll do a small map like Babylon just so we can get in engagements as fast as possible. We'll go ahead and raise the limit, and we can just set it up for a 10-minute warm-up. We can go ahead and put on fast regen so that we can just challenge multiple people back to back. Radar always on. We'll go ahead and put that on directional so we can see where people are on the map. And if you go to the right side, you can go ahead and add a bunch of bots. So we're probably going to add about 5 or 6 bots, maybe 6 bots, 7. We'll do 7 just for now. And the goal of this is just to practice those different things. So now that that's set up, we can actually practice these things. I went ahead and put on this still the 30 round mag, and the key is precision. We're not caring about dying. We're just trying to see how accurate we can be. And there, boom, we get the target. Get a little bit of movement involved. We're just warming up, coming through. We can see where the crosshair placement is. Take that dude out. I didn't even know that was a mantle spot. W, come through. We know that there's a guy over here. We can see kind of where the placement of the crosshair is. We're lined up as we come through. Let's go ahead and bait this dude. We're going to shoot us in the back. And then we can adjust, do a 180. And that's be like a bonus one too. So you can actually get some practice getting shot and then flicking 180. So if I get shot in the back, we got that guy there. Oop. There it is. Nice. Oop. I ran out of bullets. All right, we'll come through here. And just that crosshair placement, that's what you're checking for. The centering, the recoil control. Are you on center mass? There's multiple guys over here. They're jumping up. Take them out, take them out. Obviously, we have them on the mini-map, but if we come through, how fast are we getting onto target? How accurate? How many people are we killing per magazine? And you can see when you get this in kind of the rotation, obviously I've already played quite a bit with this aim assist and sensitivity. So I already have a good comfort level being able to challenge targets, get involved with the sliding, moving. There's a guy right here. Let's go ahead and adjust our aim. Boom. End up being across. Let's go ahead and cross here. There's a guy there in mid. A little bit off. There's another one here. There it is. We got 2. There's another one in mid. Let's go ahead and get our crosshairs. Another one here. And we track it. So super easy. A little exercise you can do. Just kind of warm up. Doesn't need to be crazy. Spend a little time doing it. More of a beginner style video. If you're interested in something a little bit more advanced where I give a little bit more details, let me know in the comment section. Appreciate all the support on the video. Thank you for watching. And as always, have a great day.